And welcome, Finger Lakes basketball fans, to the Upstate Hoops podcast on FingerLakes1.tv. It's Thursday, December 12th, 2013, and this is episode number 4 of our third season, and we're coming at you live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York, or for this weekend, it's Bedford Falls, New York. Verk, joined alongside my co-host, Matt Verkey.
Hey, Jim, how are we doing tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good. Some big games this week across the Wayne Finger Lakes League, especially on Tuesday night when it seemed like everybody was in action, and that was also the first night of Finger Lakes East action. So we're going to talk all about that. The Upstate Hoops podcast is brought to you by Generations Bank, generations of service for over 140 years. Visit them online at mygenbank.com and check out their mobile banking app in the iPhone or Android app stores. And also by Red's Place, serving great lunches daily in downtown Seneca Falls. Come down and watch all the big games on one of their 10 flat-screen TVs. And check them out online at men'shalloffame.com. And Seneca Meadows Landfill, responsible waste management for the next generation. See how they do it by watching their videos at senecameadows.com. Well, like I say, Verk, big week. I mean, it's fun to be back. To have Tuesday night was incredible. There was Newark, Geneva, Minders, Wayne, Lyons, Clyde. You kidding me?
Yeah, a lot of good games. It's nice to, the Finger Lakes East kind of opened up a little bit later than the rest of the divisions there. But, yeah, it was the first real full night of basketball for Wayne and Finger Lakes East and West. And nice to see some of those outcomes and get the season rolling.
And right now we got a special treat for you, too. Fresh off their win against Harley-Allendale Columbia, we got Dundee head coach Les Miller on the line. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for joining us. You must have been 15 minutes ago the final buzzer went off in your game against HAC. How did it go?
Went well. We got a little sloppy there in the first half, but went on a nice run there in the third quarter. I think we put up 23 or so in the third quarter, and it really spread the game out.
So that moves you guys, I think, now to 5-0. Is that right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
5-0, great start. And we got to look at the Scots in Romulus, and the thing I was most impressed with seeing that night was how balanced Dundee is, Verk. They seem to have a solid 5 on the court at all times.
Yeah, I mean, especially that night, we got to see everybody play, and I was impressed even with the second team. Obviously, I think their strength is their size, and they're pretty athletic, and they got good guards. I really didn't see a weakness. It was tough to judge in that game necessarily, but I'm sure there's going to be some tough contests in the West this year. But they looked great that night.
Yeah, and it looks like better. We followed Dundee last year with Camacho, or that was 2 years ago, actually. Who was their big guy last year, Coach? Who was your big scorer last year?
What's that now?
Who was your big scorer last year?
Justin Brace was our leading.
Oh, yeah, so he's back,
well.
And Huber's back, and Cole Hartman's back. They got a great team. Coach, just talk a little bit about this year's squad.
Well, as you said, we're pretty big. Our front line is 6'4" straight across. And even our shooting guard is 6'2", 6'3", right in there. So we are pretty long. And matter of fact, it got us out to a big lead tonight. We were in the 1-3-1, and we got up 10 or 12 right off the bat. And then the Brace kid got in foul trouble, and so he had to come to the bench. And we kind of got flat on offense, and then it allowed them back in the game. I think it was a 3-point game at halftime. 29-26, and then, like I said, we went on that run in the third quarter. It was ended up 23-15, but I think it was more. I think they scored the last 5 points of the quarter, so we went on a nice little run there.
Now, you usually got Justin Brace up top of that 1-3-1. We see a lot of teams do it. Minders does it with Luke Ruddy. Why do you do that, Coach? You put a bigger guy right up top of that 1-3-1.
Well, with our size, we're able to do that. Justin's so long and quick out there that he can just deflect a lot of balls, catches a lot of steals, and he's a great finisher at the other end. So he's nice to have up there.
Yeah, no kidding. As a matter of fact, we saw him get a steal atop of the 1-3-1 zone in Romulus and take it down for the dunk, which is pretty exciting.
He caught a couple the other night in South Seneca. He had another one tonight, so he's having a nice year with that too.
Well, let Justin know too that we actually cut that first dunk in the Romulus game out made its own clip on YouTube, and it's got over 500 views already. Just the Justin dunk. Maybe it's him just refreshing it.
Well, he's got it on his Facebook page. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, good. There you go. But definitely exciting to see somebody throw one down. So yeah, we know Bracey had 34 points, 9 rebounds the other night. What about Huber and Cole Hartman? A couple of good players.
Tuesday night?
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday night that Brace had the 34 points.
Yeah, he went for 34, and we were pretty balanced the rest of the way through. Hartman had 8. Tyler Kelly came off the bench with 7. We had 6, 5, 5, like that. And so it was pretty well balanced below there, but they were a little lower numbers because he was getting quite a few of the other ones. This in tonight, Justin had 19 again. The Huber kid had 19, and then it was 9-8-7 right after that. So we are pretty balanced with our scoring, and Brace has been leading the way. But I was glad to see the Huber kid step up tonight and get more in the scoring column. He's a really athletic kid, and he, matter of fact, he's the one that carried the game for us when Brace got into foul trouble.
Nice. Who do you got? So with Whitman coming over, you guys lose 2 non-league games, I assume, right?
Yep.
So who do you got? Who'd you play non-league? Jerry played one?
Prattsburg, I think, right?
Prattsburg, and then we have them again this weekend, Saturday. So those are our only 2 non-leaguers. Well, we had lost our tournament. We normally have a tip-off tournament here to start the year, and
right.
We have Prattsburg and Waco, and Penn Yan was going to come over this year, but one of the teams backed out on us, and so we couldn't get it filled, and so we had to go with a home and away with Prattsburg.
So talk a little bit about the West. If you got a few games in, we're thinking Bloomfield's going to be tough. Marcus Whitman scored 109 points last week. And Naples is off to another great start. The defending champs, I think, in the West. So what's the league look like this year?
You just named them right there down the road. Right now, looks like Bloomfield is the one to go get. They played a nice game against Whitman the other night. I was impressed with that score. A lot of people have been talking about Whitman, and then Naples as well. Naples has been another team that's been talked about quite a bit amongst the coaches, and so we don't have we've got Whitman next Friday night here, and then we don't play the Naples or Bloomfield till after break.
And those will obviously be big games. I love the West this year, Verk.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen Bloomfield, but it looks to me Dundee, Bloomfield, are going to battle it out this year, and Whitman kind of came back down the other night. They got beat pretty handily. I think that was Bloomfield who beat them, as they were talking about. Yeah. So, so far it's shaping up to be Dundee and Bloomfield, which is kind of what we thought coming in. But, not having seen Dundee play in a while, I was impressed with them the other night. They got good height throughout the lineup, good guard play, and, looking at their class and sectionals and stuff, I think that, they're going to be a high seed and have a great chance to come out of that Class C3 this year. Kind of helped Clyde moved up into C2, which we talked about on some of the other shows. So we got, Lyons and Clyde in that C2, and then, I think Dundee down in that C3 is going to be one of the 2 or 3 favorites to win that class, I think.
Yeah, and I love Class C. I mean, you're going to see a lot. I think you're going to see some Wayne Finger Lake matchups going forward into the state qualifiers this year because we got so many good teams. One thing Coach talking to in the post game, Dave Barnick was interviewing Cole and Justin, and they seem like great kids, and it seems like they really enjoy playing with each other. Is there really good chemistry on this year's team?
There is, and we have a group of kids that have played quite a long time together, and they seem to be getting along real well so far. The biggest thing that sticks out to me is I went through and did the stats from 3 different games here that we've had so far, and the amounts of assists that we have compared to the points we have a high number of assists for what we're scoring. Sign. So I was sure to share that with them the other night in practice, and just told them we got to keep it up. Matter of fact, in the locker room tonight before the game, when that was part of our speech, was to make somebody else on the team look good, and that's what they seem to do so far. They make each other look good, and they get along real well. So I can't ask for more there.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the 5-0 start and for taking some time with us, fresh off your win tonight. And, I definitely want to get you up here in Seneca Falls in the studio with us before the season's out with maybe a couple of your kids. So we'll work on that. But thanks so much, like I say, for taking the time, and hopefully we'll catch up soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, no problem.
And that was Dundee head coach Les Miller, fresh off their victory over HAC tonight, and they're 5-0. And maybe it's just because we saw them, Verk, but I really like Dundee.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with them. And I didn't really know going in. Sometimes you don't know what to expect in the West sometimes, and like I said, it was tough to judge against a rebuilding Romulus squad, but. They look good, and like you said, it seems like they really like each other and they share the ball, and that's a big thing in high school. They have kids who really like each other. I've seen some talented teams who you get one or two players who are selfish, or maybe they're thinking they're going to play somewhere in college. They got to get their stats up, and but what gets college coaches come look at you is having a great team season. Then you get recognized, and that stuff all comes later. But this team looks like like I said, I don't want to put pressure on them, but I think they're the favorites in the West and in that Class C3. I think they got a great chance to win it this year.
Well, they're going to be tested coming up. They got Prattsburg out of league, and then they go at Red Jacket on December 17th, and then home against Marcus Whitman before that. On the new year, January 3rd, they're going to be playing at Bloomfield, and then they got Naples at home 5 days later. So a lot will get sorted out by early January. And before we step away and take a quick break, I just wanted to let you guys know about a great last-minute Christmas gift that you can get your Wayne Finger Lakes basketball fan in your life, or actually anybody who has a smartphone or spends a lot of time on their laptop. It's the Google Chromecast. And why I'm showing this to you is you can watch the Upstate Hoops podcast on your television with one of these devices. $35. You can get one off Amazon.com, but it plugs into the HDMI port of your television. And then basically you can pull us up live on YouTube or watch us on tape on YouTube and hit one button and send that right to your TV. And also, here at FingerLakes1.com, we're doing 14 high school basketball game webcasts live. So that's another great way to watch it, too, is you can
sit on your couch and watch it on your big screen.
Exactly. Pull it onto your phone, send it to the Chromecast, and I'm telling you, it's a seamless experience, especially with YouTube. You can also watch Netflix on there.
That thing will sync with your phone or your iPad or something, kind of.
It basically is just it's just kind of like a receiver. So you're actually playing it on your phone, but the signal's getting sent to your TV.
Okay.
And it's just pretty seamless especially with YouTube. So what you do is you download the YouTube app, subscribe to FingerLakes1.com, and then when we're live or you want to watch any of our podcasts on tape, you pull it up, hit one button that appears in the app, and off it goes to your television. Well, you do have to download the Chromecast app on your Android or iPhone, but to make it all work. But it is pretty seamless, and it's $35.
And you can watch, anything you want to download to YouTube or anything like that. Obviously, you could watch it.
Yeah, you can watch the Justin Brace dunk clip.
I might do that tonight.
You do it. So this Chromecast is actually for Verk. It's a little Christmas present from me to Verk.
What a guy.
So, we're going to pay some bills real quick, step aside for about 60 seconds, and we're going to be back with some results from around the leagues, our players of the week, and our power rankings. So hang tight.
We hold on to the things that really matter. Welcome to Generations Bank.
Hi, I'm Jody Torrio. If you're like me, you've got stuff lying around the house that you want to recycle, but you're just not sure how, like broken toasters, vacuum cleaners, or microwaves. At Seneca Meadows, we have a drop-off for those. Bring in anything with a cord, and we'll make sure it's recycled properly through our partnership with 2TRG. It's that easy.
And welcome back to the Upstate Hoops Podcast on FingerLakes1.tv. Well, as I mentioned, Verk, tons of games this week. Let's start out with some action in Wayne County on Friday night. It was Clyde East Rochester coming to Clyde, and Clyde handled them pretty easy, 65-46. They outscored them 33-14 in the second half, thanks to 25 points from Cam DeSanto. Joe Faniel had 17 points and 6 assists. So there's some separation already atop because Lyons beat ER too.
Yeah, North Rose might make some noise, but other than that, it looks like it's Lyons and Clyde again. ER doesn't seem. I don't think looking at ER, they already got 2 losses, the Lyons and Clyde. Yeah. So I think they're out of it. Ganonda's hanging around, but North Rose is a team I'm looking at maybe to maybe upset like a Lyons or a Clyde down the road.
Well, yeah, Ganonda's 2-0 after beating Marion this week, 61-32. North Rose Wolcott beat Red Creek on Friday night, 47-36. They're 2-2. I think. Who are those 2 losses? One of them's out of league. Maybe they're both out of league. I don't think Lyons or Clyde has played them.
No, I don't believe they have either.
I think they're both out of league losses, unless maybe they played ER. But Sodus also beat Williamson 68-64. Then on Tuesday night, North Rose beat Ganonda, which made Ganonda 2-1. Oh no, I'm sorry, Verk. Right here it says North Rose Wolcott's 3-0.
Yeah, I don't know. We got a misprint here.
We got to get our stat crew on North Rose Wolcott. But in that game for North Rose Wolcott, it was Jake Stevenson with 26 points and 9 rebounds, and Tyler Norris had 17. Sodus and Marion went to overtime on Tuesday night. Sodus winning 51-50, a game-winning field goal with 1 second left in overtime to put Sodus at 2-1. But the big game of the night on Tuesday in Wayne County, Verk, was Clyde-Savannah holding off Lyons 51-50. It was Lyons was down 15 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Clyde couldn't put them away.
Lyons scored the first 12 points of the fourth quarter to obviously cut it down. I think at one point they had it down to 1, and I think they actually might have tied it. And Cam DeSanto had a old school 3-point play, the and 1, put them up 3, and they kind of iced it from there. But it was a game. I was getting some updates on that, and Clyde was up big all game. And then Coach Zach Young texted they lost by 1. They were down 4, hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer to cut it to 1, but still, I'm sure that, Lyons has got some new kids in there, and they're playing at home, but to come back from 15 down, it shows they got a lot of fight. Damon Hunter had a big fourth quarter. He's held to 4 points in the first half, and then he kind of turned on. I think he finished with 24. And, it's a good showing. And Clyde showed some goal. They held off the big Lions run, and they were able to pull it out.
On the road.
And I think that's what they did last year. They won in each other's gyms.
I tell you, that's what I was going to say. It reminds me a lot of last year. Going into the year, we looked at it and we said, geez, I don't know if Lions got as much as Clyde, and we favored Clyde.
You never know with Lyons. Like last year was, in Clyde is when Hunter started. He really hadn't done much all year. And then the Clyde game, I think he was the high scorer for Lyons, and he went on to be sectional MVP from there. So, Lyons always get some kids who come out of nowhere and have pretty good years for Coach Zach Young.
And Zach's a great coach. DJ Long's one of those guys that kind of flies under the radar.
He's kind of
for
a glue
Lyons.
guy. He does all the great athlete, does a lot of the dirty work underneath. And Lyons is small again this year, and they're scrappy though.
Well, we'll look forward to that webcast when Lyons comes to Clyde in January. We'll be doing that one live. So, I mentioned in the West, Dundee won again tonight. Earlier this week, they beat Honeoye 71-44. Brace had 22 in that game. Whitman beat Naples 70-60. Luke Shively had 23 points, 11 rebounds. Merritt Bailey had 19 points, 8 rebounds for Whitman. Isaiah Tilley, 14 points and 16 boards for the Big Green Machine. Red Jacket beat Romulus 77-33. HAC just snuck by South Seneca 67-33. And Verk, you say that you got an update from that Romulus South Seneca game.
I do. I got a final on that, and it's all South Seneca, 66-22.
Wow.
In Romulus. The Falcons took it to them.
Yeah, and seeing that they played HAC so tough, you had to figure that maybe they're going to win that game. But that's a big margin, and obviously both communities wanted to win that one pretty badly.
Sure, and we talked a little bit. Obviously, they're combined last year, and separate this year, and the whole thing with the merger not going through. I'm sure there's a little bad blood going on between the communities. So,
but they really care about the girls' game tomorrow.
They're probably partying at the Golden Buck tonight in Ovid.
That's right.
So tomorrow night's the big one tomorrow night because both teams are very good, and they're both coming in undefeated. I think they're both 5-0, and that'll be a packed gym up in South Seneca.
And what Romulus girls did to Honeoye the other night was unbelievable. They scored something like 43 baskets.
Yeah.
A lot of 2-pointers.
Yeah.
Very, very good basketball team in the Romulus girls. So Tuesday night in the West, Bloomfield beat Marcus Whitman pretty convincingly, 75-58 for Whitman's first loss. And that shows me how good Bloomfield is because Whitman's been tough with that twosome of Shively and Bailey.
Yeah, I'm interested. That Bloomfield Dundee game. I think that's going to be in the West.
Dundee handled South Seneca on Tuesday, 66-47, and that was a game Brace had 34, 9, and 6. And Naples beat Red Jacket. Isaiah Tilley with 14, and Andrew Fleischman with 3 threes and 10 points. Honeoye took down Romulus 50-38 in a pretty good ball game. Tanner Gladding had 14 points. Justin Graff had 17. And tonight there's a full slate. As we said, Dundee beat HAC. Naples is at Honeoye. Red Jacket at Bloomfield. And then South Seneca defeats Romulus handily. In the East, wow. With the East opening up on Tuesday night, that was just such a great night. First of all, we were in Newark for the Geneva at Newark game. It was Dave Barnick and Kevin Korzaneski on the call, and that was just a fantastic high school basketball game, Burke. Those kids,
I caught it on the webcast, and it wasn't a real cleanly played game, I didn't think, but the intensity was high, and it was a great atmosphere, and you could tell both teams knew it was a big game. And I heard Barnick and Kevin were mentioning that the coaches wish it was later in the year because it was such a big game, but. Geneva pulled it out, and it wasn't easy, obviously, and great early win.
Yeah, it looked like Newark was going to pull away at one point, and I tell you, the thing I like about Geneva, I love Brian Miller. I love watching him manage a game, especially a close game late, and I love the post play of Terrell Johnson. He's got some really nice post moves. You can feed him down there. Yep. He can run the court. The same thing with Ray Sims Jr. They got nice, refined low post games, I suppose, for high school. And one of the big questions for Geneva was, they lost their starting backcourt with Sweeney and Donahue. So what were they going to do? Well, it was Steve Dolgus really won him the game in the fourth quarter, both with his ball handling. He hit a couple threes, and he made a ton of free throws. Yeah,
I mean, you're not going to get the scoring or the leadership that like Sweeney provided, but those guys, they're solid. They're good basketball players, and I think Geneva's going to be tough this year. As we thought all along, and I think their early season here has proved that.
But I tell you, I love Newark too. I really think these might be the two best teams.
And they're well coached,
and
just Geneva got the better of them. And you play that game 10 times, they probably split 5-5. It was a good game.
I'd love watching Jamie Rosser and Micah Wright work together. Tyler Collins, junior point guard, is a great player.
Yep.
I think where they kind of lost their way down the stretch in the last couple of minutes, it was some of the younger guys on Newark touching the ball, and Micah Wright and Rosser didn't really have the ball enough, I think, down the stretch, and there were some turnovers and maybe some ill-advised shots.
Right.
But boy, that was a great basketball game and a great atmosphere in that gymnasium. And there's more to come this year, I think, in the Finger Lakes East. So Geneva takes that win. They came off, also got a win against East Aurora in Niagara Falls. Newark had a win in the Skidmore tournament out east, and then lost in the finals on Jamie Rosser hit a 3 with 6 seconds left, and then they gave up a layup on the other end, and that was it for their first loss. In Victor, Palmyra Macedon lost to MS Tech Prep out of Section 6. And other games on Tuesday night. Mid-Lakes, 69, Waterloo 49. Mason Jones with a big 27 points to get Mid-Lakes off to a 1-0 start. And, maybe Mid-Lakes is ready to return to the discussion.
I thought Mid-Lakes and Waterloo would be a pretty even game, and
Right.
a little surprised at the margin of victory there. I know Waterloo's still young. Last year they had a lot of freshmen playing. Now they got a lot of sophomores playing. I know Coach Panic's working hard with those guys, and they're, hopefully, come mid-season we'll see some improvement from Waterloo. But yeah, Mason Jones was a big scorer last year. He's back as probably the leading returning scorer in the league, and he put up 27 for a big win for Mid-Lakes.
And now here's my dark horse team in the East. Penn Yan. They lost the president, James Burdett, to graduation, but they defeat Palmac 63-54 on Tuesday night, and it was Jacob Covert with 13, Austin Finger with 12, Bradley Voigt with 14, and they return a lot of guys. And honestly, I've heard a lot of people saying, "Look out for Penn Yan."
A lot of people said their JV team last year was 18-2, and those kids obviously are moving up, and they're going to be solid. They got a lot of depth, and they might be a year away from really contending for the title. But they're, like you said, they're a team that's they're going to play tough every night, and they got depth, they got good guard play, and Penn Yan's always a tough team to play. They got a lot of good athletes, and they're going to battle you for 32 minutes.
Well, last game we got to talk about from Tuesday night, Verk, involves our alma mater, and kind of tough way to start the season for Minders, having to go on the road at Clyde's, new coach, head coach Nick Ciotti, new starting backcourt, but then they had Wayne at home, and I kind of thought that Wayne also lost Trey Lamore and lost some guys, and I kind of thought Minders was going to win that game. They had a big deficit. Then they come roaring back at the end, but eventually dropped that game at home 59-56.
Yeah, I've only heard bits and pieces about they were down big early. They came back. And I thought if they're going to get beat up, maybe, Connor Henderson, the big guy, or is it Connor? One of the Henderson boys is still in Wayne. I know he didn't score a lot. And he's 6'6", 6'7".
Oh, you're talking about Hollenbeck.
Hollenbeck.
Yeah, Mike Hollenbeck.
Mike Hollenbeck. And, I thought maybe he would hurt us, and he didn't seem to. But we were down and made a furious comeback and just kind of, I think we got it down to one at one point in the game and just couldn't pull it out. But, I'm sure the kids battled, and, I know Anderson was in foul trouble again, so they need to get him going, I think. They need him on the floor. But, they got some good play in the Clyde game. Brett Anderson played really good as a freshman. This game, Devin Verkey came back, had 15 points. So I think as the year goes on, these kids are going to keep getting better and better. I know Liam Carher sprained his ankle in that game, so that hurt him a little bit. So they're still trying to find their way, And then we've talked about it all year long, but replacing Brandon Pasawako and Jimmy Rickey, Connor Miller, those are all big losses, especially looking at Pasawako, who kind of ran the show for the last 4 years. They're still trying to find their way, and I think as the season goes on, they're going to get better and better.
Yeah, I agree, and really, I'll think league aside, you get into sectionals and you try to peak then, and that's kind of what happened to Myers last year. We were kind of writing them off towards the middle of last year. Wayne rolled them at home last year.
And so did Geneva, and I think playing in the East sets you up to when you get, and then you're playing some of these C1 teams. They're decent schools, but they're not as good as a Geneva, Wayne, Newark. So, Minders has seen everything during the regular season, and, come sectional time, playing in Class C1, they're ready to go, and they're more game tested, and that's proved to be true over the last few years. I think I'd have them as the favorite to win C1 this year, looking at the class.
Yeah, I like the team. I think, like you said, they're only going to get better. Well, let's move it ahead to our Wayne Finger Lakes Players of the Week. Hey, guys, if you win this thing, you get a T-shirt. But what you got to do is email us at upstatehoops@fingerlakes1.com with your address and your shirt size, and we'll send you a T-shirt. And I'm going to be hopefully getting an email from Justin Brace, because he's my Player of the Week this week from Dundee after 34 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists versus South Seneca, 22 points versus Honeoye, 2 more dunks. He's my Player of the Week.
I'm going to go with Mason Jones from Mid-Lakes.
It's a good pick.
He put up, He's a kid who doesn't get recognized as much because Mid Lakes has struggled for years now.
Mm-hmm.
But he put up good numbers last year and dumped in 27 on Waterloo. And he's a good shooter, and I look for him to keep scoring all year long.
All right, now I think he's the leading scorer in the Wayne Finger Lakes.
I think they only played one game, 27
averaging
points.
27. So congratulations, Justin Brace, Mason Jones, Dundee and Mid Lakes, and Upstate Hoops at FingerLakes1.com with your T-shirt size and address, and you'll be getting an early Christmas present in the mail in the form of a FingerLakes1.com T-shirt, or possibly one of the coveted FingerLakes1.com webcast schedule T-shirts that has our whole schedule on the back. We'll have to see what we put in the old grab bag. Well, moving ahead quickly now to our power rankings, Wayne Finger Lakes power rankings. Now, this is where we take our top 5 and try to rank them, and it really doesn't mean anything because they're all in different classes and different leagues, and some of these teams won't even play each other, but it's fun to do. And I got it 5 Verk Lyons. Like I say, Damon Hunters is legit. He's a superstar at the high school level, I guess you might want to say. And Zach Young's a great coach. It's reminded me of last year where I started him outside my power rankings. I'm not going to do it this year. I got him in 5 early. I got Dundee at 4. We talked about them at the top of the show with Coach Les Miller, the balance and the size and the experience and the chemistry. Like Dundee a lot. And a lot of times we don't see a Finger Lakes West team in our power rankings, but I got Dundee in there. I got Newark at 3. And then I moved Clyde down from 1 to 2, and Clyde didn't even lose. As a matter of fact, they won on the road against Lyons. But I got to tell you, after seeing Geneva play, I really like Clyde's big 3, Faneuil, Bogan, and DeSanto, and Turner, really strong rebounding. But I don't think they have quite the depth that Geneva has. And, of course, Geneva's a A2 school, and Clyde's a C2 school.
Yeah.
So, but I got Clyde at 2, and I got Geneva at 1.
That 5th spot for me was kind of between Lyons, Wayne, and Bloomfield for me. Bloomfield's put up some big numbers. I'm going to stick with Lyons just because my dad used to work there. No other reason. Dundee 4, I got it just like you do. Dundee 4. I dropped Newark to 3, Clyde 2, and Geneva 1. I think Geneva's really well coached. They got some good athletes, and I think they're a team that's just going to get better and better.
Akia Jackson. I mean, this is how I would answer Faneuil, DeSanto, and Bogan. Akia Jackson, Terrell Johnson Jr., Ray Sims Jr. So, then they got a big 3 too, and like I say, Stephen Dolgus really stepped up and buried some free throws at the end of that game to secure the win on the road. So, quick look at the week ahead. Friday night, tomorrow night, it's Minders at Geneva. And Newark at Pelmac, Penn Yan at Mid Lakes, Waterloo at Wayne. Saturday night, you got Red Jacket visiting HAC and Dundee at Prattsburg. Tuesday, it's Mid Lakes at Newark, Pelmac at Minders, and that game's live on FingerLakes1.tv at 7:30 p.m. Get your Chromecast warmed up, install it on your TV. And, Verk, you're calling that game, I think, with Brendan Harrington?
Yes, sir.
Always nice to get back inside Arthur L. Baker for some basketball. And Romulus travels to Whitman, Waterloo's at Penn Yan, Wayne at Geneva. So we'll see. This is a tough little week for Geneva. They got 2 home games, but 2 pretty good teams. Dundee at Red Jacket, ER at Honeoye, Naples at Bloomfield. So we're going to learn a little bit something about Bloomfield and Naples that night. And then Wednesday night, it's Lyons at Marion, North Rose Wolcott at Williamson, and Red Creek at Clyde. And then guess what, Verk? We're back here again on Thursday night talking about it all as we get a little closer to Christmas. So that about wraps it up on this edition of the Upstate Hoops podcast. We'll be back next Thursday night at 9 o'clock, and be sure to check us out on Tuesday night in Seneca Falls on FL1 Sports. Game times at 7:30. For our live viewers, we'll be back online live in about 20 minutes at 10 o'clock Eastern with Brad Connor for the Upstate Orange podcast, where we'll preview Syracuse's out-of-conference game this week against St. John's. That's right, out-of-conference game against St. John's. So thanks again for joining us. For my co-host, Matt Verkey, producer Jeremy Hunt, I'm Jim Sinacropi. Have a great week.
See ya.